If you've watched last week's video, then you know that I talked about the billionaire mindset, but I left out intentionally the financial aspect of it because I wanted you to see that true wealth starts before you get the money. Just to make it fair though, it has a lot to do with money. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the financial aspect of becoming a billionaire. Things that you should definitely stop doing and things that you should start doing if you are serious about this journey. So I will see you in the video. Welcome back. I am Krista with Krista Speaks. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for joining. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I post. And on this channel, I talk all things investing in you, so you are definitely in the right place. And if you just want somewhere to start, this is the first video that I posted. You can start here, or you can continue watching this and you can watch the video that I posted last week, which I'm going to be linking at the end of this video. Either way, just start. So to get into the meat of the matter, why you're watching this video, the first thing I want you to stop doing is to stop buying things just because they're on sale. Wait, what? Exactly. Stop buying things just because they're on sale. No, I do not like shopping. So the odds of me going into a store to buy something just because it's on sale, it's like 0 to 1. So I may be a little biased, but whatever. You don't need to buy something just because it's on sale, especially if you don't need that thing, right? Because the thing is, if you went into the store to shop, went online or in a physical store to shop, and the thing is on sale, okay, at that point you will be saving money. But if you didn't go to shop and you just decide to buy it just because it's on sale, you're spending money that you shouldn't be spending, so you're not saving anything. Stop trying to confuse yourself into thinking that what you're doing actually makes sense, because it doesn't. So the first thing you need to stop doing is to stop buying things just because they are on sale. All right. The next thing is not tracking your spending. Well, I use my card and I can see all of my expenses, but that's not tracking anything, and that's also not telling your money what to do. That's you just seeing what your money is doing, and that's not having any control. So you spend your money. Yes, you can see everything listed on your bank statement, so you know what you spend, but you're not telling the money do this. You're just spending the money wherever it wants to go. I don't think that's a good way to use your money, because you can just spend whatever you want and there's no structure. How do you know that you're not overspending? How do you know that you're not spending your bills money? Because you're just spending all the time. So you not tracking your expenses, you need to stop doing that. You need to track every single thing that you spend. Nothing is going left untracked. The next thing is giving away to credit card. So if you've been following me for a while, you understand how I feel about it. I know every debt is not bad, and if you are going to borrow money to make you more money, to have a greater ROI, which is return on investment, go for it. But if it's just frivolous things like buying shoes, hair, sneakers, all of that stuff that is going to make you look good, but it's not going to make your bank account any better, I'm not really feeding into that. All right. So when I say giving away to credit card, what exactly am I referring to? What am I talking about? In terms of you don't have the money to pay the bill, which is exactly all you should spend from your credit card. Spend the money that you know you have, because the money is not yours. You're borrowing it essentially. So you need to make sure that you have the money on the bank to replenish the credit card once you spend it. So when you're spending money that you don't have in your bank account, that's giving away the money, because now you're going to accumulate interest. You may be late for your bill. And you see the problem here? Do you see the problem here? All right. So giving away frivolous little credit card that you don't have the money to pay the bill, you cannot pay off the credit card when you spend it. You're going to have to just meet the monthly payment. You're going to have to pay a lot more interest. What could you do with that money that you're going to be paying interest? Exactly. All right. The next thing is splurging on takeout. So when I was in college, I had 5 roommates. One time I had 6, the next time I had 7, because people kept moving out and moving in. And we had a 2-bedroom apartment. We were sharing everything. The kitchen was really, really small. And so all of us cooking at the same time was almost chaos, because, we're bumping into each other. That's not an environment that is conducive for a lot of people cooking. And if you're like me, cooking is therapeutic to me. So when I'm cooking, I like to be focused and free, and I can just experiment and do a lot of things. And that space was not the space for that. So what I used to do, I used to order a lot of takeout, because I had a lot of work to do, and so I had to maximize my time. So I couldn't spend all that time in the kitchen trying to walk around everybody. But when I checked my bill, y'all, that bill was racked up, because I had to be doing it every single day, because I have to eat, right? And so that was not sustainable long term. I had to sacrifice it and go in the kitchen at some point and just try to make it work, because that $20 that you spend every day, if you spend $20 every day on a takeout, you know how much money you're spending for the month? over $600. What could you do with that? As a matter of fact, even half of that, say you have to get takeout at some point and you spend like $300 and you have an extra $300, what could you do with that? A lot of things, all right? And so it adds up over time. I'm not saying don't eat out. I'm not saying that, because which I'm going to talk about in the steps that you should do. You should implement money for those things, because at some point you're going to do it. So you want to make sure that you're making it conducive in your budget to eat out, but you're not eating out every single day, right? That's not feasible. And that's not going to help you on your wealth journey. I'm not saying don't feed yourself, because yourself is important. You have to eat. I'm just saying go about it in a way that is not causing you to overspend. That's all I'm saying. All right. The next thing is you need to stop giving unfruitfully. I love giving. I think everybody has a moral duty to give, and you should. Once you have the resources to do so, you should give. You should give back, because somebody invested in you, someone gave you something, and it's only moral if you give it back to people. I don't support giving unfruitfully. Giving into things that are not benefiting the person. I'm not talking about you. Yes, you're giving your money. You should be giving it anyway, but giving into things that are not beneficial to the person. For example, if you have a person in your life, you know they have an alcoholic addiction, giving them money to buy alcohol is not helping them. That's not fruitful giving. Giving to a charity, scholarship foundation, and things that are going to be beneficial to society, or even and to your church, those are good giving. So you understand what I'm saying? I just want to make sure that I'm not telling y'all not to give. I'm just saying do not give into things that are unfruitful. So now that you've actually stopped spending your money on things that are not fruitful and you have all of this money, what do I do with it? Now I'm going to tell you 5 things on how to use this money to actually start wealth. All right. So the first thing is create a budget. When you have a budget, you are telling your money what to do. You are ultimately in control, because if you don't tell it what to do, it's going to tell you what to do. So this is actually the proper method that you can use to track your expenses. Just looking on your bank statement is not enough. When you have the budget, you know exactly this is what I should be spending on XYZ. Now I can reference my bank statement to see if my spending habit is matching my budget, and bring the two of them on the same page. The budget that I use is 50, 10, and 40. So 50% needs, 10% wants, and 40% towards savings and investment. If that does not fit your budget, you can use 50% needs, 20% wants, for 30% needs, savings and investment. Like I said, it's not as important the method that you use. It's just that you're using the method. All right, so in the wants category, you want to be very clear on the needs and the wants, and not mixing them together. The needs are your bills, things that are recurring, things that you must pay every single month, and the wants are things like going out, shopping, all of those things. You want to make sure that you allocate money for these wants that you're going to be having, because you're going to be spending money. So you want to make sure that you accounted for that in your budget. So when you're spending, it's not frivolous spending and then you're spending into your needs money, etc. And I also recommend having separate bank accounts for this, which I'm going to be talking about in the savings section, so that you're not mixing, you're not commingling your funds. So now that you have the budget and you can really track where your money is going and tell your money what to do, now is the time that you should get out of debt. Actually, it's not that simple. So I'm gonna break it down. I understand it's a serious problem, and for me it's a personal thing, because I grew up in a family where debt was treated like it's the norm, and it was not good debt, it was always bad debt, and that's not the norm. Okay, the other day I was having a conversation with somebody and they said to me that they borrowed some money. I asked them why. This was a family member. I asked them why did they borrow the money. They said because the person offered me to lend me. I was like, what? Because I know this person, you don't know them, but I know this person. They're not going to use that money to make any money on it. So they just put themselves in a very bad spot, borrowing debt for no reason, just because somebody offered to lend them. So I understand that it's a very interesting matter. But anyways, the reasons why it's essential to get out of debt is because you are a slave to the lender. A lot of people are working jobs they don't want to work because they owe a lot of debt and they have to pay it. So they're a slave to the job, and they're a slave to whoever they have to pay every single month. And that's no way to live. The next thing is because when you're constantly, every money you make, you have to pay it out to build. You're not getting closer to building wealth because every single money is going out the window. What are you going to use to save? What are you going to use to invest? Which are also two of the things that I'm going to talk about later. You see what I'm saying? So that is essential, right, to get out of debt. All right, so there are two methods. You've probably covered the internet. There are a lot of people telling you do this or do that, and I want to stress this: it's not as important the method that you use. The important thing is just that you use a method. 9 plus 1 is 10. 8 plus 2 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. You're getting the same end result. You're just using a different step to get there. So it doesn't matter what method you use. Just use the one that works for you. You have the snowball method, which is basically you're listing all of your debt and you're paying minimum payment on everything except the smallest. So you're knocking the smallest one out of the park. This is good for you if you are, you like small wins. You want to make sure you want to feel motivated by, knocking something out. This is a better method for you. The other method is the avalanche, which is basically you're listing all the debt just the same, but you're paying off the one with the high interest rate. So it just depends on the strategy that you want to use. Just do it. Just pay it off. All right. So how do I pay off my debt if I'm living paycheck to paycheck? Well, you need to increase your income. How do I do that? The first thing, and this is not an immediate increase of income, but it can pay off long-term in dividends. And this is being active on your social media platforms. Why? All right, so even if you go, and I've heard stories like this so many times, even if you not have a business or you're not selling anything and you have a social media presence, people can book you for speaking gigs because they hear your personality, they hear the things that you say, and they know that the audience that they have will be better captivated by hearing you speak. So just by being on social media, just by talking, just by posting video, you can land opportunities that you weren't even prepared for. So that's what I mean when I said in the long term it can be beneficial. But if you have a business, it's a good way to get visibility. It's a good way to promote your products and promote your services. So you can actually, sell your services on a social media platform, even though that's not like the normal marketing strategy, but it is a marketing strategy and it does work. So being active on your social media can be very beneficial to increasing your income. So I'm camera shy. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to post. I am camera shy too, and I'm a very introverted person, and we are two different people. So at the end of the day, this is no comparison. I'm saying I get it. That's all I'm saying. All right. What you can do in that case, you can post videos that you don't have to show your face. You can just post different videos, voiceovers with pictures and words, just to get started and get into the habit of posting. And then probably over time, because I do think showing your face on camera helps to build trust and credibility with your audience, and that kind of makes them attract to you a lot more. So over time, you can practice with family members and friends to develop your confidence, or attend different workshops if you're at that level of if you're at that level, and ask them to give constructive feedback on what you need to improve so that you can feel comfortable in that space and ultimately start showing your face on camera, right? Another way to increase your income is by teaching what you know. So we know there are art skills and we know soft skills. So probably you know how to cook, sing, play the piano, clean, whatever it is that's art skills that are tangible, you can teach those. Right? Maybe you don't have art skills, but you can teach soft skills. You can teach communication. Everybody needs to know how to communicate. You can teach confidence. I just mentioned an example of someone not being confident to come on camera. You can teach people to be confident. You can teach leadership. You can teach management. You can teach organizational skills. Like, you can literally teach all of the skills that we need as humans, business owners, and employees to succeed and thrive in those environments. So if you want to know platforms that you can teach on Skillshare. This is a lesson-based platform, so best practices would be to break down the content and teach a 20-minute lesson once per month. And you're getting ongoing earnings. You get paid based on watch time, based on how much time people on the platform watch your content. So you get paid on that. So if you think you can really condense the material and make it interesting and it offers value to people in a way that they can implement steps to become better at the area that you're struggling, that's a great platform to teach on. The next one is Thinkific. This is more course-based platform. So if you really want to just put all the content in a 1 hour or 2 hour or probably a 5 hour long video, you can choose this platform. And there are other platforms out there as well. These are just two that I'm going to recommend. So what if you really want to teach something and you don't know all the details of it, but you kind of know something but not everything? You can learn. You can also learn on Skillshare. They offer a free 1-month trial. You can check them out, watch different videos and learn different skills. Then you can go and teach it. And at the end, you can cancel if you don't like the platform. Or you can also try out FIVERR Learn. On Fiverr, you learn a lot of things. You learn different business skills, a lot of anything you want to know, you can learn it there. I'm going to be linking a link below so you can check out the Fiverr Learn if you are interested in that, and then you can have something to teach. So the next way to increase your income is by creating digital products. What do I write about? Okay, so if you just took the previous example of putting your course on Skillshare, say you have that 20 minutes course. Every month you're dropping a 20 minutes lesson. You can take that lesson from that 1 month and create it into an ebook. I'm big on repurposing content and saving time, because as a serial entrepreneur, your main focus is to ensure that you're maximizing your time and freeing up your time to do other things. You don't want to spend all of your time doing one thing, all right? So take that same content, put it into an ebook. That 20 minutes recording is probably around 8 pages of ebook. That's a good size ebook, because one thing is we like to read things that are short because you finish quicker and you can move on to reading another thing. You know, also there are people who like to read long books. So if in the case that you publish, 20 minutes lesson per month, you can combine like 3 months and make it into a 24-page ebook or a 60-page ebook if you do it in a longer period of time. So you can make the content work for you. So you can do it into smaller chunks for those people who want to listen to smaller, who want to read smaller content at a time, or you can put it into a larger book for people who would want to just sit down and read a larger book. I don't think it really matters as long as you're making the product, right? So that's really a good way to go about that. You can also do audiobooks, because we know a lot of times we have a lot of things doing and we would want to listen to a book. So you can just plug your headphone in and you're working and doing whatever you're doing while you're getting the information. So you can do an ebook, an audiobook, or either or. All right, so that's a good way to go about that. If there are other digital products, planners and other different graphics. So if you do think you have a good design that will sell and you can market your stuff, you can go about that. But if your goal is to give value, then I would recommend the ebook or the audiobook. But it's up to you. So you created the budget, you got a grasp on coming out of debt, increasing your income. What's next? The next thing is savings. This is very important. We always grew up here, people saying, save your money. And yes, you should save your money and it's essential. But let me tell you why it's essential. And I'm not going to tell you how to save, but it's essential because you need to have cash on hand for different reasons. The first reason is your emergency fund. And the next reason is your rainy day fund. So, as I spoke about earlier when I was mentioning the budgeting, I recommend separate bank accounts for these things so that you're not commingling the fund and so that you make it easier for yourself. So if you can set up these different bank accounts with your place of employment, that would probably take the work away from you. But if you want to make sure that you're more hands-on with this, you can just go into your bank accounts after you set these up and select auto pay for the accounts that you need to auto pay on, and to make sure that everything is set where they should be. So for the savings, I recommend having 2 checkings accounts. One checkings account for your bills. Every money that goes into that, that's your bills money. Once that is done, all of your bills are paid. The next account is for your wants. So that you're only spending from this account when it's things that are relating to things that you want. You're not spending from anything else. And once that money is done, you don't have any more money to spend, right? So for the bills, I would recommend Discover Cashback, because you're paying bills from it all the time, so it makes sense to be earning some cashback on your money, right? So I would recommend Discover Cashback for the bills. For the wants, I recommend Capital One, because it's easy to use and beginner friendly, and they have a lot of perks and benefits. So I would recommend Capital One for that. Likewise, I recommend 2 accounts for those, 2 checkings accounts for the bills and the wants. I recommend 2 savings accounts for the emergency fund and the rainy day, 2 separate accounts. So you all know the emergency fund is 6 to 12 months of your monthly expenses. You're not spending this money unless you're out of work for a substantial period of time without pay. And this is just to pay your monthly expenses for your needs, not the wants, unless you accumulated your wants in there. But these are just like your monthly expenses, things that you need to keep a roof over your head and your car driving and stuff like that for the period of time that you're not working for the month. For the emergency fund, I recommend having a Capital One. Capital One is classified as a HYSA, which is a high yield savings account. They have a 2.15% APY, which is the average annual percentage yield. So that is the amount of interest that you get on your money for the year. Discover have the same percentage, but because Capital One is classified as yield savings account, it would be better in your interest if you have your money in Capital One. So that's the emergency fund, right? For the rainy day fund is things that you cannot foresee for the month. All right, I would recommend having PayPal savings for this one. PayPal has a 2.25% APY, and they are a very renowned bank. They don't have a branch, but they're online, and the reason why they can offer these high interest rates is because they don't have the added overhead cost of managing a branch. So I would recommend PayPal for the rainy day fund. And this rainy day fund is basically anything. For example, you got into an accident, your car is in the shop, and you have to pay a deductible to get your car back. You can pay that deductible from the rainy day fund. If your car is in the shop, you can use the money from the rainy day fund to rent a car to get to work during the time that your car is away, and things around the house and different things that you couldn't foresee. So those money come from the rainy day fund. You don't want to be dipping into the emergency fund for these things, because the emergency fund should serve as your expenses for the month, not anything unforeseen. So the emergency fund should be planned expenses for the month. All right, do you understand? The next thing is a CD, which is a certificate of deposit. I recommend having one with Capital One because they don't have a minimum starting fee. You can literally open a CD with $0. You don't have to pay any money down for the CD, and as well you can get up to over 3% interest on your money. The only thing is, on a CD you have to keep your money for a longer period of time. If you take it out too early, you're gonna have a penalty fee, as well as they may close down your accounts. So it's best if you're keeping the money in there for a year or more. And this account is better for larger purchases such as house, condos, cars, vacation, whatever it is, long term. So this is a good saving method for these larger purchases. All right, so now we created the budget. We started getting out of debt, increasing the income, and saving. Now we have to invest. I think investing should be probably the first thing that I talk about, because it's such an important topic, but I wanted to just get everything their correct space. Okay, so there are a lot of different platforms investing, and I think even though you're saving your money so that you have cash on hand, you need to invest so that you can multiply your money in a shorter period of time. What can you invest in? If you're an employer or a business owner, you can invest in 401k. This is a plan offered by the company where it's a retirement plan. It's a tax deferred plan, which means the money that you put in your 401k is taken from your gross profit, which means you haven't paid tax on it yet. So when you reach 65 and you plan to withdraw that money, that's when you're going to pay tax. If you withdraw it before 65, you have a 10% early withdrawal fee. So you may not want to do that, but you also want to invest up to your company match, because if you invest below the match, you're not going to get it. So why not invest the match and get the double money? All right. So you can start with the 401k. The next thing that you can invest in is your Roth IRA. That's also a plan maybe offered by a company, or you can get this plan in the marketplace even if you want to get it through your company. The Roth IRA is classified tax-free, but it's not really tax-free, but it's just because you already paid it from your net profit, which means you already paid tax on it. So when you go to get it at 65, you already paid tax. You're not getting double tax on that. So you can do the Roth IRA. You can also do a savings account and just shop around your place of employment to see what kind of plans they offer, and talk to your boss or your financial advisor in the company, the department that deals with that, to help them explain these things to you. Also, you can invest in the stock market. Duh, everybody knows that. Well, you can invest in individual stocks if you have a high volatility rate, which means you're willing to assume a lot of risk. And just so you know, no investment is without risk. It just depends on the level of risk that you're willing to assume. So you can do individual stocks if you want to, if you really believe in a company, or you can do index funds, which you're not investing in an individual company, you're investing into a pool of companies. So you have less risk because you're in different markets. If one market goes down, probably the other one will not go down. So you have a balance of not losing all of your money, even though there are drawbacks to that. But you can start with an index fund if you want something a lot more secure. I use Robinhood to invest. I do a mixture of individual stocks as well as index funds. So I would recommend Robinhood as an investment platform. It's very easy to use. There are a lot of things on there that you can learn. They teach you how to invest, what you should look for in a company, things that you should know, everything that's going on in the market. They have news, daily news on companies, and just the market in general. So it's a really great platform for you to start on. If you want to start on Robinhood, I'm going to link that in the description below. You can check it out and see if it would be a great platform for you. The next thing, which is one of my ultimate favorite, is LOFTI AI. This is a digital real estate platform that anybody can start on. Like if you don't have the money to start investing and you really want to start and you have like $50, let's just talk about $50 for a minute. $50, you can start. You can have percentage ownership in a house for as low as $50. You don't even, it doesn't get better than that. And it's very low risk. It has risk, but it's very low risk. You can always get back your money. I have personally experienced this where I invested into a property, they call it token, and the owner decided they don't want to sell it to LOFTI anymore, and they refunded the money to my payment method. You can also sell the properties if you don't want to keep the investment, and recently they have this new system where you can trade your houses just like on the stock market and get an additional income. So you earn rental income on a daily basis. And if you want me to do a video breaking down exactly how this works, I can do that also. But you earn from rent accumulate, from property appreciation, which is the value of the property going up, and just things that are factors that are affecting the market on a daily basis. So this is really a great place to start. You can start with $50. Some houses you have 51, 54, different prices, but you can start with $50 until you are able to, do the bigger investments like Airbnb and storage and short-term rentals and houses and all of that stuff that you hear talking about all the while. Don't find excuses not to start. That's my point, because you can literally start with $50. So yes, you now learn all of these things. The best way to get the most and to really start this journey is to start. You have to implement things in order to see results. It can be a lot of confusing and overwhelming, but start with, pick one thing I just said and start with it and keep building and keep building. Wealth is not an overnight thing. It happens over time. So you have to be willing to put in the effort and the time and have the patience to see your artwork come to fruition. I want to make it very, very practical for you to start, because I know it can be overwhelming. So I hope I was able to add some value and I was able to give you something that you can actually start doing today to build some wealth. And if I really delivered on that, please like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and share this video with anyone who you think would need to see these steps. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.